Hello, beautiful unicorns. Yana Kasperczak coming to you live from Ontario of Canada. And as your certified professional performance and spiritual awakening core energy coach, it has been my soul's purpose to help you, to help women in this community of Healed Unicorn, Emotional Healing and Spiritual Growth for Women Facebook group to get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison you find yourself in and build a life, a business, and or a career that you are obsessed with, that you love and you cannot wait to wake up to. That it's the first thing that you get excited about in the morning, and it's the last thing you think about and are excited about at night before you go to bed and throughout your whole entire day. And on Thursdays, I do this live podcast, the weekly Get Your Shit Together weekly live guidance with myself, Yana Kasperczak, where I go live at around 11:45 a.m. Eastern time every Thursday-ish. And I say the ish because sometimes the calls that I have, they might run a little bit longer because, as you can imagine, women deserve to feel unrushed and heard and seen and validated. So when some of my calls run a little bit late, I don't rush the process because I believe it is important to allow the process to unfold onto itself. And this is one of the things that I want to remind each and every one of you, that the process of healing and the spiritual awakening and growing that you're going through, you cannot rush that process. Your part in this process is to learn how to allow it to unfold it on its own without you trying to pressure it. And the big part of that is you understanding how the universe is communicating with you, what you're meant to be doing now, what you're meant to be doing next, and not allowing your mind to block you from doing those things. And that's what the topic for today I thought would be very fitting to talk about, why you're struggling to accept help in this spiritual lesson of receiving. If you want to receive and achieve and grow into the things, into the goals and dreams that you want, you must learn to accept help. I'm going to say one of my favorite phrases. It's how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you are struggling with accepting help from people in your life, why do you think the universe will come out and also try to offer you help when you simply are going to reject it without you knowing that you're actually rejecting it? And I want you to pause and really think about that. This universal truth of, if you don't know how to accept help from people around you that the universe has sent to you in giving you the help that you say you want and you need, and if you can't accept it, why do you think he'll send you more and more and more, knowing that you're just going to reject it? What the universe will do is it will pause and allow you to figure your shit out, to sort your shit out, to see what you actually want and don't want. Because you say you want help, and yet you're not accepting it. You say you want guidance, and yet you're not accepting it. You say you want to see the signs, but yet you're not seeing them. Those synchronicities, those connections that the universe is helping you to see, that you can make those connections between 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on, different things throughout your day. You're being divinely guided every single day, and yet most of you fail to see it. Most of you fail to recognize it. While the rest of you are actually starting to see and uncover and question these things. And as you're questioning them, you start to unfold so much more from those messages that you wouldn't any other way. When you start allowing to be helped, when you start allowing people to do things for you, and you put that perfectionist aside, that screaming within you that, oh my God, they're gonna mess it up, they're gonna ruin it, they're not gonna do it in the way that I want it, in the way that I need it, in the way that it's supposed to be or should be or has to be done. When you put all that aside and remind yourself that what you're also allowing in this process is the one thing that you have been asking for, is to have more time for yourself. And someone comes in and offers you help, let them. Of course they're not going to do it the way you would, because they're not you. And the mere expectation that they would do it in the way that you would, is just you getting ready for disappointment and resentments. So if this is the phrase that comes to mind, expectations are premeditated resentments and disappointments. So practice letting go of expectations and allowing things to unfold onto themselves for the greater good and for the best outcome for you. That's how things are meant to happen naturally. And the more that you try to get things under control, the more out of control they will feel. Reflect back in your life and see that this holds some merit, some truth to your past experiences, where you try to get control of something or someone, and in the end it just made things worse and they felt so much more out of control. And then look to your past for the opposite truth as well, because you've experienced both. It just, we tend to remember the bad, the scary more than the good and the positive and then the happy. So by practicing remembering the positives, you'll start to notice them more. That's where you start to practice more. So for many women, especially those on the healing and their spiritual awakening journey, accepting help, accepting love and gifts, it feels uncomfortable. It's like an invisible wall that the woman feels like she needs to break through when she allows the receiving of the help. And more often than not, it's rooted in emotional and spiritual wounds. You might not remember but when you were little and you asked for help, you didn't get the response and didn't get the help that you wanted. And what happens is that when you ask for help once, twice, 3 times, and you get the same or similar response, you're less likely to try again, to ask again. So you become conditioned and programmed not to ask for help, to figure things out on your own, to do things on your own. And you start to then build these expectations and these stories that help you navigate your life and your journey and your experiences that are rooted in keeping you safe. So you learned that it's painful to feel rejection when you ask for help, and that it's easier to just do it yourself. And so now you are an adult and you've been doing this most of your life, figuring things out on your own, doing things yourself, and for everyone, and you feel tired and drained and exhausted and unseen and unheard and unsupported. And that's a lonely journey. It feels lonely. It feels like you're being used. And in many ways, you are, and in many ways, you're not. So now you're faced with opportunities to allow people to help you. Because that's what the universe does. It helps you by sending people who are going to help you to go from here to here. Whether it's from having, let's say, a dirty kitchen to a clean kitchen. Let's say one of your kids comes in to help. You can also enroll them in that as well, whether it's your partner, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend that comes and offers you help, offers you a service in the way. And when you say yes, you are also speaking to the universe that you are ready to be helped. Whereas prior to that point, you were just helping yourself. You were taking care of everything, and you were responsible for everything and didn't allow the universe to help you. I'm sure you've heard of this this joke in a way, how there was a massive flood, and this man was stuck on the roof of a building, and he asked God for help. And a helicopter came, and he turned the helicopter away, saying that he's waiting for God to come and help and come and save him. Then a boat came, offering help. He did the same thing. And then I think whether it's a boat and a ship came, offering help to rescue and save you, and he said, no, I'm waiting for God to come and help me. So eventually the man drowned, and he met God, and he said, God, why didn't you help me? And his response was, I sent you the boat, I sent you the ship, I sent you the helicopter. You refused my help. So how could I help you if you did not want to be helped? Right? So it's funny, but yet it's not funny, because this is I don't talk about religion, and I am a spiritual person. So my belief is that there is the universe, there is the existence, there's the oneness, there's that energy that most refer to as God, because it helps to give it a name. But whatever it is, we will all agree that there's something much more bigger and powerful, and there's something else that's out there beyond just us. So I would start with that, and then I wanted to share just 5 different reasons and ways, 5 different reasons why you're not accepting help, and to help you start breaking through all that. Start shedding the layers of the onion that you are. And you know what happens when you start peeling an onion, and when you start cutting into the onion. Lean into that. Don't run away from that. One mistake I see all the time, and everyone, including myself. I'm a human being. We humans, we're flawed. But that's the beauty of us as well, within those flaws. It's important to lean in to those things that are uncomfortable, and we grow in our discomforts. So the deeper emotional reasons are fear of being vulnerable. Because when you accept help from someone else, what your mind is telling you is that you can't do everything alone. And yet you have this expectation within you that this program of I am a superhuman, I am a superwoman, I can do it all, and I must do it all to make life easier for everyone and take care of everyone. In the end, by making life easier for everyone, you're making it harder for everyone, okay? And especially for yourself. I'll use an example of raising children. By you always cleaning their rooms, cleaning the house, including the kitchen, and putting their backpacks away and dealing with their lunches, whether it's unpacking or packing lunches or creating lunches, what you're doing is you're doing them a lot of disservice. Now they are an adult. Now they have a house of their own. They have a family of their own. They walk into the house. They simply will not see the socks that are left at the door, the shoes that are all over the place, the dirty dishes in the sink, the mess that is in the living room and in the bedroom. They simply will not see those things because in so many different ways they have experienced this and received this programming that it will get done and they don't have to do it. In order for us to walk into the house and right away scan and see what doesn't belong here, what doesn't belong there, and put it away, it's a practice. And I was one of those mothers who did everything for her kids because I want to make life easy for them. But then I started, because I work with women and I see the way that the men that they're with, and then the women themselves, how they are. And I educate myself and I learn from other people's experiences, and even watching some of these shows on Netflix, you see how some of these people are. I see the patterns of helicopter parenting, of a parent being the best parent they can be and trying to do everything for their kid, that in the end, their kid is not capable of doing anything for themselves. And if you ask me, I think in some ways it's a tragedy, because now, let's say a woman marries my son or a man marries my daughter. They have their own families, they have their own homes, and they don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to take care of it because they are used to walking through the mess and through the things, not seeing them. It's like they're invisible. And then their partner is the one that has to point these things out and tell them, do this, do this, do that, just like when they were children. And then now the relationship is going to be going through some turmoil because now this child of mine is feeling like they're being parented. They're being told what to do. They feel like a child. And they don't want to be told what to do. But how does this get resolved? A lot of digging within and healing, where that's why I call it a tragedy and at the same time opportunity. That if how the kids are raised is going to also determine what kind of an adult they're going to be. And that's why I like the approach of living with the end in mind. And the end in mind is, how are my grandkids being raised? Am I happy? Am I okay with that? What kind of parenting styles are they being raised with? How is the household being managed? Is the house clean? Is the house messy? Are they getting out of the house, or are they all in the house? Are they all on the devices? Are they exploring and enjoying life? Are they writing? Are they reading? Are they exploring the world? What kind of relationships do these grandkids have? Are they healthy and they are unhealthy? What kind of relationship do my kids have with their partners? Are they healthy or they're unhealthy? It starts from a young age. That's why all of us as adults, if we look at our relationships with our partners, with our kids, with our friends, And we start to pay attention to the patterns of how our parents' relationships were with each other, with us as the kids, with their family, you'll notice patterns. And they're not that much far off until you awaken to those patterns and you start changing them. And when you start changing them, you're healing yourself, your story, your history, and your generations. Not just your generation, not just your kids, but going backwards. Your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, and great-great-great-great, and so on and on and on. Because the blood that you have is recycled. Generation after generation after generation. It's recycled. It's, yeah, you do create new blood cells, but in many ways it's recycled. And as you continue to create new blood cells, you continue to create and create and build new neural pathways, and you grow new brain cells. That's what happens when you learn, when you apply the things that you learn and you take action and you grow yourself and you put energy and effort and investment into yourself in all the ways that you can. The hardest one for me always has been the energetic investment, putting in the energy in learning this thing, learning that thing, and then applying this thing that I learned, applying this thing that I learned. To me, that's always been the hardest. Money investment, easy peasy lemon squeezy, even in the times where there wasn't much money or felt like there wasn't much. But there's always a way. And I always found a way. You like look around my spaces. I'm like, oh, I can sell this, I can sell this, I can sell that. And all of a sudden now I have that money to invest in myself or invest in my kids or buy an experience for myself or for the kids or for the family, right? Money is just simply energy, and we can exchange that. And if you want more of it, you got to align with it as well, and not with the lack where all of us are programmed in. And it takes time to reprogram all of that shit we've been fed through our lifetime, consciously and subconsciously. And the hardest one is the subconscious one, because you're simply not aware of it. And it takes time to bring all that out, to see it for what it is. And then either let it go because it makes no sense and holds no merit, or heal it because it's holding you hostage. So for women, for women used to being the strong one, this feels like a loss of control or an admission of weakness when you ask for help, right? When you accept help as well. And those women tend to also fear being judged, or that people will think less of them and your struggles will be seen and noticed. Also might feel unworthy. There's past traumas that might be coming up as well, the emotional wounds from the past betrayals or the past disappointments that might be hard for you to trust people to do something. Maybe even to offer help to some people or accept help. It kind of goes both ways. Another reason would be spiritual reasons behind the struggle is your blocked feminine energy. And there are numerous ways to unblock the feminine energy as well. My favorite way is dancing. It's breathing into the root chakra, because this is where you are, and your identity is in your stomach lining. So making sure that you're taking care of your stomach lining and that you're not putting things into your body that will harm your stomach lining or take your identity away from you. So taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, and physical activity, and being in motion and not sitting down much. And when you sit down for a long period of time, then get up and move around as well. And feeling that resistance to trusting the universe as well, because maybe you're not used to it, or you feel weird about it, or you just have a lot of doubt. And this can block you as well. Maybe there's also karmic lessons for you as well that sometimes block the receiving, because it stems from some spiritual lessons or some lessons that you need to learn or are meant to learn. Maybe holding on to control. Maybe there's lessons around independence. We all want to be independent, but let's be honest, we actually don't. We are meant to be dependent. And we are being programmed and told that we must be independent. Independent woman is the most powerful thing. No. A woman who is dependent and yet has the ability to be independent and has learned how to dance gracefully between the two, with the two, that is the most powerful woman, in my opinion and in my experience. That you learn to be dependent and yet you are not fully dependent. We all want to be wanted and needed and desired. And if you're independent, how can anyone depend on you? Or you depend on someone else because you're like, I got this, I can do this on my own, I don't need you. But everybody wants to hear, I need you, I want you, I can't live without you, I can't do this without you. I need your help, I need your support, I need your guidance, I need your strong energy or your strength or whatever it is. We love hearing those words. I need you, I want you, I desire you, I can't do this without you. That's not something an independent person would say. They will repel people and experiences and things as well. And then I talked about how your abundance is blocked as well when you're not receiving, when you close those energetic channels. When you consistently reject help and you reject love or gifts, you're closing off your energy channels, which block the flow of abundance. Whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, you're still doing it. The goal would be to become aware of how you're doing it consciously and then change in a way that feels right and authentic to you. The universe does respond to the energy you put out. That is your investment, your energetic investment. It will, you will get compounding effects or compounding interest on your investment. So pay attention to what energy you're putting out there, with thoughts and emotions and feelings and beliefs that you're putting out there, and you will get that back. Putting fear out, you'll get more fear. You put love out, you get more love. And if you're constantly pushing away assistance, you're sending the message that you don't need or want abundance, whether it's in the form of money, opportunities, or relationships, right? Or love. Perpetuating scarcity mindset, the lack mindset, by refusing to help. You refuse the belief that everything is scarce, that you must do it all alone, or there isn't enough to go around. And I see this in the coaching industry as well, where coaches think that they're competing with one another for a client. And I used to be that way too, by the way. Yeah, where I just felt, in comparison to this coach, in comparison to that coach, they're not going to want to work with me because they'll choose her, they'll choose her, they'll choose her because she's good at that, she's good at this, and I'm not. When I stopped doing that, and I learned also why I was doing that, it was coming from that scarcity, that there wasn't enough people that would want to work with me. But then pausing and realizing that each and every one of us is different. There are people who I wouldn't even want to work with. And there are people who wouldn't want to work with me. And on top of that, if I'm looking at this one person and we're competing for this one person, I am seeing one opportunity, whereas the reality is how many billion of people are there in the world? How many of those people would help me to earn the income that I desire and worthy of earning? Why would I focus on the few when I can focus on the many? So shifting my own belief system and understanding of my programming helped me to move away from that way of being and existing, which how you do one thing is how you do everything. I initially started with the money story, and then I noticed that the scarcity mindset was everywhere. And I worked on the money story scarcity, the scarcity of the money story. Guess what happened? That ripple effect went into the rest of the scarcity stories. Doesn't mean that all of them were magically cured and healed and gone. No. It just means that when it came down to work on the next one, it wasn't as hard as it would have been if I started from scratch with that. And the next one was even easier. And the next one was even easier. And did I cure my money story the first time around? No. But by getting to a level of healing that I wanted, that I chose, I was able to move on to the next one. By working on the next one, it helped in the healing with the money story. And then, of course, ripple effect through everything. And then focusing on the next one and the next one, and then just ripple effect through everywhere. And this is how little by little I changed who I was. And I became a more evolved and conscious version of myself. And my programming changed and evolved. Also, feeling disconnected from that inner power is another reason why you might be struggling to accept help, where the abundance isn't just about the material wealth. It's about being supported, loved, and connected to others. And by rejecting help, you're cutting yourself off from those life-giving connections and creating emotional isolation, which can block the flow of universal support. And how you shift from all those, it's simple, yet it is not, right? Easier said than done is how the phrase goes for everything and anything that we do. You gotta shift the mindset by starting to understand where you're coming from, the triggers, the buttons, what's coming up for you, getting to know yourself as you are right now, as you're being that programming, and then changing it and shifting it and reframing it in the way that connects to the true, authentic you. And remind yourself that you are worthy of help, you are worthy of love, you're worthy of all the goodness of the universe that it is hoarding for you. And the universe is a hoarder. It is. It's holding on, and it has the space to hoard all these things that you want and desire. But it's holding on to those things until you're ready. Until you're ready to have them. And when you're ready, it says, oh, she's ready. She's aligned. She became who she needed to become. She grew into that becoming and reaching of that thing that she wanted. Now I'll give it to her because now she's ready. And then when you're ready for the next, it says, oh, she's ready. And it has a lot of things, even the things that when you were a little girl, you wanted. The universe is holding on to them and gives them to you when you are ready. And practicing gratitude of what you receive, the things that you do manifest, the things that the universe finally says, okay, she's ready, let her have it. Now she's worthy and deserving of that. But that comes from your own inner self. You must be aligned with the version of you that knows, not believes. Believing and knowing are two different things. Your beliefs can be changed, but the knowing cannot be changed. So you must align with knowing you're worthy of whatever it is that you want and are ready to have as yours. And then that is when you will get it. When you know. And what you know cannot be changed or coerced or taken away from you. But what you believe can. And that can be twisted and manipulated for you to be taken advantage of in the ways that you wouldn't want to. So, you gotta start small. If you can't swim, you can't jump into the river, right? And also, if you're not a good swimmer, you're not going to jump into the river either. You're going to jump in the lake, in the pond, or in the pool and swim there and get good at it, become a really strong swimmer before you jump into the fast-moving river. And learn how to go with the flow, or get in the canoe with, what is it called? Like, call it the terrain, the water terrain of it takes you through down the hill. And some people love that, while other people are like, yeah, I'm okay. That's not really my thing. Healing through the inner child work is going to be another way that you will open up that abundance flow and start manifesting things. Exploring any childhood or past trauma around receiving. If you were taught that receiving is selfish, or if you felt neglected when you needed help, this inner child wound can be blocking your ability to receive now. And I love inner child meditations. That's why many of you have experienced them. And even if I do the same meditation, it is in a little bit of a different way. And I always keep coming up with the inner child meditation, because to me, that was the most profound and eye-opening and heart-opening meditations I have ever experienced myself. So that's why I love doing that. I absolutely love doing that. And then making sure that you're balancing your masculine and your feminine energy. You have both of them in you. The people in your life, men, women, all of us, we have feminine and masculine energy in us. And figuring out what the healthy balance for you today in any given moment is going to be helpful in ways that you haven't been aware of yet. And then practicing surrender. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust that the universe always thinks of you and keeps you in mind in the most positive way it can. That's what I would say. And the last thing I would add is being gentle with yourself throughout this process. Healing is messy. It is not linear. It is not a straightforward path or journey. And not everybody gets to go on this journey of self-healing and gets to spiritually awaken in this lifetime. Some souls, they wait many lifetimes to awaken spiritually and heal themselves and their lineage. And it takes one generation to heal. One generation to heal the many that came before and the current one. So if you're one of the lucky ones that is going through turmoil, through pain and suffering, through struggles and challenges, and you are having a difficult time, I want to remind you that the sun always comes out. No matter what, the sun always comes out. Which means that if today is one of those days that feels like it's the worst day of your life, that just means good times are coming. If you look through your past, through your life journey, you will see that you've had many bad days and you've had many good days. Sometimes it might feel like you had a lot of bad days, more bad days than good. But when you really start healing and then start looking down your journey of life, you will start to see things the other way around, that you've had more good days than bad. It's just those bad days felt so bad that they tainted your memories of all the good days and good moments. And by shifting your perception on focusing on the good, you'll have more of that. But if you continue to replay the bad, the scary, the painful, the ugly experiences, you will have more of that. And I did both. I don't do both now. I've healed through all of the traumas, primarily through all of them, because some of them still come up, but they no longer have the same effect on me emotionally as the ones did. They don't hold me hostage anymore. Whereas it's the best way to describe it is what feels like just yesterday, which is not yesterday, but many few years ago, where something happened and it felt like it was the end of the world, that I would just spend days focusing and dwelling on it and crying and sad and sleeping. Whereas now I work through it like that, and if I am emotionally charged, it doesn't last longer than a day, because it doesn't need to. There's no benefit for me to be down on myself for longer than a day. And then the next day, there's no residual effect of the previous day. It's because it's not even the whole entire day that I feel lower. And I can't tell you any specific thing that helped me to get there, because it's never just one specific thing. It's an accumulation of lessons, tools, learning, applying, that helped me get to this point. And that's why everything that I have learned and applied and knew worked, I have been putting together through. Some of you have experienced a 21-day challenge. Part of that is in there. And then the other part is in the imposter banishing quest. And I know there'll be more to come later, but this is the two. One is a challenge and one is a quest, which is a program that's going to be starting on the 28th, are the ones that essentially have taken my lifetime of learning and experiences and putting it into these two babies. So yeah, that's it. I'm all tucked out. I'm hungry now. I'm gonna go eat. You ladies, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for being on here with me. I see Rebecca says riding the rapids. Yeah, that's the one with the boat going in the rapids. That's what it's called. And then she said, I like that description, holding hostage. Right? And we don't like to be held hostage. It's always against our will, right? And then peeling the layers, Rebecca says, a family has to function as a team to be sustainable. Exactly. And every member of the team needs to contribute. And if they don't contribute, they are replaceable. But in the family, they're not replaceable. You just need to figure out how to help them contribute in the way that feels right to them and for them. And Rebecca says helicopter parenting is a tragedy. Yeah. And I will be the first one to admit I was a helicopter parent, and I'm a recovering helicopter parent. Let's put it that way. Recovering people pleaser, recovering helicopter parent, recovering self-saboteur and procrastinator and self-sabotager. We're all recovering, right? Because in some ways those things become our escapes. And what's an addiction if it's not an escape? So Pick your poison. And then there was another one that I see, but it's not showing up. I detest feeling like a mother to my partner. It takes a toll. Oh, it definitely would, because even the word partner itself it's almost like it's supposed to be and should be clear that means you take part in all that makes up a family, that you contribute equally, whatever that equality means. And it's going to be different in every family. But it needs to feel fair. And if it's not, then you need to communicate that and allow the other one to speak and process and understand, and give them space. It's taking you time to understand something or to learn that this is where your partner can improve. And it's only fair to give them the time that they need in processing now what's expected of them, right? Because it's all brand new to them. They're just learning, just hearing of it now. Meanwhile, you've already thought about it and you brewed and it makes total sense to you. But to the other person, this is the first time they become aware of that. So be patient and give them the grace and the time to sit with it, to understand and learn from it, and then apply. So anyways, that's it. That's all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rebecca, for being on here, and all the rest of you who hopped on and watched me live, and the rest of you who will be watching on the replay. Looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you what was your biggest takeaway from today's podcast. And then most importantly, what are you going to do with that takeaway? What action are you going to take from today's takeaway, from today's biggest lesson that you felt, or maybe a connection that you've made, your aha moment, whatever it was for you. So thank you. And until we see each other next Thursday at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time-ish, or on Monday on Monday, I'll be on here at 11:45 for a card reading, even though it's going to be our Thanksgiving for Canadians. We have it different times. I'll still be on here doing the live card reading for you all, because that is one of my obsessions. I love doing these things for each and every one of you, because I see the difference that it is making. And I also enjoy doing these podcasts, these card readings, for numerous reasons, which I'm not going to get into. But just seeing the value that it brings to each and every one of you, I think that already is the biggest reward that I can think of. So Rebecca says it's not even Halloween yet. Thanksgiving first. Yeah, we Canadians like to do things differently. Why? Because we can. I didn't come up with it. I didn't decide. I just sometimes follow the herd. We got to, right? We join the herd once in a while, but on the outside of it. So we're there with the herd, but then going and doing our own thing and creating our own herd that doesn't feel like a herd. It's like a tribe. Anyways, until we see each other next time, bye everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day and weekend. Bye.